They always say reality TV is full of surprises, but nothing could prepare fans for the bombshelling Jock just dropped on Kirk Frost. In a private late-night interview that was secretly recorded and immediately leaked, Jock revealed a dark side to Kirk that no one saw coming. Allegations of drug addiction and secret dealings behind the scenes. Emotions ran high as Jock, voice trembling with urgency, described witnessing Kirk supplying substances to a fellow cast member. Details so explosive, the network is reportedly considering cutting Kirk from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta altogether. Fans are shocked that a beloved star could harbor such a hidden life, and social media has erupted with Kirk exposed and Al Haddle shut down. The family was left divided, with close friends scrambling to defend Kirk, while others question how long he's been hiding this secret. As whispers of legal threats and cast boycotts swirl, one thing is certain: Love and Hip Hop will never be the same. Stay tuned, because this is just the beginning of a story that's as heartbreaking as it is electrifying. Young Jock's confession emerged on a humid Atlanta night in Kirk Frost's penthouse, disguised as a casual catch-up. Jock had texted Kirk earlier, claiming he wanted to discuss a new business opportunity. Kirk, ever the gracious host, welcomed his old friend with a drink and a warm smile. The two settled into plush leather chairs overlooking the city skyline, memories of their early days in the music scene floating between them. But Jock's true intention lay hidden in his pocket, a discreet recorder ready to capture every word. "You've been spiraling, Kirk," Jock began softly, voice edged with concern. Kirk's brow furrowed. "What are you talking about?" he replied, though his tone lacked conviction. Jock pressed on. "I'm talking about your nights disappearing into clouds of smoke, about whispers that you're not just using, you're distributing to someone on the cast." Kirk's face paled, his hand trembling around the glass. He opened his mouth to deny, but Jock held up his phone. "Listen to this," Jock said. Kirk stiffened as Jock hit play. The soft murmur of Kirk's voice filled the room, confessing to supplying pills to a fellow castmate. Kirk's eyes went wide as the realization hit. His own words, recorded without his knowledge, now weaponized. Jock watched him, expression unreadable. "Fans are shocked," Jock murmured. "I had to bring this into the open." As Jock's YouTube channel broadcast the recording moments later, notifications exploded across social media. Viewers who had always admired Kirk's dedication to family and community suddenly reeled at the revelation. Comments flooded in. How could he hide this? The family was left divided. Haddle will never be the same. Producers scrambled to assess the damage, their phones lighting up with frantic calls. Backstage at the studio, Mona Scott convened an emergency meeting. The room buzzed with tension as network executives, legal advisors, and production leads debated Kirk's fate. "Do we suspend him pending investigation?" asked one executive. Another countered, "If we remove him now, ratings will spike, but credibility will suffer." Mona's gaze shifted to the large monitor displaying Jock's video. Kirk's face hovered on screen, eyes haunted. The decision felt heavier than any storyline twist. Meanwhile, Rashida learned of the scandal via a late-night phone alert. She stared at her screen in disbelief. Kirk, the man who had stood by her side through countless ups and downs, now appeared as the architect of his own downfall. In a group chat, Rashida typed furiously, "This can't be real." Bambi responded seconds later, "We need to meet. This affects all of us." Within minutes, the core cast assembled in a private trailer, faces drawn with worry. Outside, news vans converged on Kirk's opulent home. Spotlights and microphones awaited him when he chose to address the public. Inside, Kirk paced, replaying Jock's recording in his mind. His wife, Tiffany, sat at the edge of the hallway, laptop open to her own social media feed. Tears glistened in her eyes as she scrolled through hurtful headlines. Kirk Frost's secret life exposed, star under the influence. Each headline felt like a betrayal, cutting deeper than any private conversation. Tiffany rose and approached Kirk, wrapping her arms around him. "We'll get through this," she whispered, though her voice trembled. Kirk leaned into her embrace, the weight of his actions crashing down. He thought of his children, of the values he had preached on camera, of the trust he had built with fans. Now, all threatened to crumble. With producers looming, Kirk agreed to a brief on-camera statement. The crew assembled in his living room, lights bright and intrusive. Kirk stood before the cameras, shoulders hunched. He cleared his throat. "I've made terrible mistakes," he began, voice cracking. "I've struggled in silence, and I know that silence has caused pain to my family, friends, and fans." But before he could finish, Jock's voice echoed in his mind, reminding him that raw confession alone would not suffice. The next morning, Kirk retreated to a rehab center outside the city. Cameras captured his arrival, a simple tracksuit replacing his usual designer attire, the sterile building a stark contrast to his lavish home. A counselor greeted him, guiding him through intake and offering a journal. "Write what you can't say," she advised. Kirk flipped to a blank page and scribbled, "I'm ready to face the man I've become." Back at the studio, the cast reconvened without Kirk. Jock opened the unscripted reunion segment with a somber tone. "We invited Kirk here tonight to speak for himself, but he chose a different path." The empty chair beside Jock loomed large. Rashida's voice trembled as she spoke into her mic. "We stand by Kirk's recovery, but we can't ignore the betrayal we felt." The family was left divided between empathy and anger, the audience torn in the same way. Social media exploded with reaction videos and think pieces. One vlogger contrasted Kirk's public persona with Jock's decision to expose him, asking, "Who's the real villain here?" Others defended Jock as a true friend, unwilling to watch Kirk self-destruct. Dozens of hashtags trended. Kirk rehab, Chatlex posed, friendship tested. Sponsors distanced themselves, pausing endorsements and removing Kirk's images from campaigns. Tiffany organized a small community event at the rehab center, footage of which aired as a promotional teaser. Kirk stood before a group of recovering addicts and families, offering a shaky apology. "I hope my journey helps others speak up before it's too late," he said. Children handed him small cards with sketches of hearts and messages. "We believe in you." The scene felt poignant, a rare moment of genuine connection amidst manufactured drama. Meanwhile, the unnamed cast member who received drugs from Kirk stepped forward in a short video. They spoke haltingly. "I was at a low point and Kirk offered pills. I regret accepting them, but I'm getting help." The admission deepened the scandal, forcing fans to confront the reality behind the glitz. Many praised the courage, others questioned the motives. Was this another cast-driven redemption arc? Producers edited these raw moments into a gripping narrative for the upcoming reunion special. Cliffhangers teased Kirk's return. Would he appear in person, via video link, or remain absent? Viewers speculated furiously, sharing theories and countdown timers. The family was left divided, some hoping for closure, others bracing for more betrayal. As Part 1 draws to a close, Kirk's world has been irrevocably altered. His choices exposed him to public scrutiny, fractured relationships, and a fight for his career's survival. Yet within the chaos, a spark of redemption flickers, one that only time, honesty, and unwavering support can nurture. Stay tuned for Part 2, where Kirk confronts his past, the cast faces unexpected twists, and the true cost of secrets comes to light. Kirk's first night back at the rehab center was sleepless. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead while memories of the exposé haunted his mind. He lay on the narrow cot, staring at the ceiling, replaying Jock's recording and the stunned silence that followed. Emotions ran high as guilt twisted in his chest. He had betrayed not only himself, but everyone who believed in him. He rolled over and reached for the journal on the bedside table. With a shaky hand, he wrote, "I'm scared of what I'll become if I don't face this head-on." The next morning, Kirk met with Dr. Allen, the center's lead therapist, in a small office lined with calming artwork. Dr. Allen's voice was soft yet firm as he guided Kirk through a visualization exercise. "Imagine the person you want to be," he said. Kirk closed his eyes and pictured a man free from addiction, someone his children could look up to. But doubt crept in. Could he really change after years of hiding? The family was left divided in their hopes. Some believed he could, others feared he never would. Meanwhile, back on set, Jock's late-night live stream continued to resonate. Fan Rami C. are shocked that a reality star they trusted could lead a double life. Social media analysts dissected every clip, speculating on which cast member received Kirk's alleged supply. Rumors swirled around new faces, whispers that an up-and-coming talent had been compromised. Producers, sensing an opportunity, began teasing a shock reveal about the second victim, hinting at a betrayal that could shake the show's foundation. Kirk's phone buzzed with messages from castmates. Rashida sent a text. "Thinking of you today. Remember who you are beyond this." Bambi wrote back, "We'll get through this as a family." Jock's message was simple. "Stay strong, bro." Each ping reminded Kirk of the tightrope. He walked. Every response could be a lifeline or a landmine. His sister Jenna flew in to support him, promising to stay until he was stable. Her presence brought comfort, yet every time Kirk caught her worried glance, he felt the heavy weight of expectation. In group therapy that afternoon, Kirk sat in a circle with 6 other patients. One by one, they shared their stories. A former accountant who lost everything to pills, a stay-at-home dad whose addiction nearly destroyed his marriage, a teenager who'd lost friends to overdoses. When it was Kirk's turn, he described the night Jock exposed him, tears slipping down his cheeks. "I felt like a fraud," he admitted. "I betrayed my own story." The room was silent, then filled with supportive claps. Fans are shocked by his honesty, and viewers at home were left wondering if this raw moment would translate into lasting change. Later that day, Kirk's wife Tiffany visited with their 2 children in tow. Cameras captured the tender reunion, as Kirk knelt on the tiled floor, hugging his kids tightly. Their youthful hugs and sincere, "We love you, Daddy" messages brought relief, but also a pang of sorrow. He worried his actions had scarred them. Tiffany watched, eyes glossy with tears, praying that this moment wasn't just another staged scene for television, but the real turning point in Kirk's life. As word spread of Kirk's progress, unexpected allies stepped forward. The unnamed cast member who'd received drugs from Kirk sent a letter asking for privacy, acknowledging their own struggle. "I hope we can both heal," they wrote. This gesture stunned the cast and fans alike, an olive branch in a war of betrayal. Social media lit up with praise. Forgiveness beats hate. They're both human. Yet skeptics questioned whether this reconciliation was genuine or orchestrated to salvage the show's image. Meanwhile, Joke arranged a private sit-down interview with Kirk's mother, Margaret Frost, aired on a popular entertainment news channel. In the emotional segment, Margaret described Kirk's childhood battle with distraction and how she'd always feared he'd seek solace in substances. "He needed to feel accepted," she said, voice quivering. "We tried to guide him, but he pushed us away." Viewers were moved by her vulnerability, but also provoked. Some criticized the family for exposing private details in public. Producers capitalized on the momentum by filming a surprise visitation. Kirk was escorted to the set of a community outreach event run by Rashida and Bambi. The scene opened with Kirk stepping out of a car, greeted by cheering volunteers. Rashida embraced him, saying, "We're in this together." Bambi handed Kirk a stack of care packages labeled Hope Kits. The gesture symbolized unity, but awkward glances and forced smiles revealed that trust was not yet fully restored. Back at the rehab center, Kirk faced an unexpected setback. During a weekend pass, he visited a friend's party and found himself overwhelmed by old triggers. He slipped away to a quiet corner, heart pounding. Memories of a pill bottle in his pocket and a friend offering him relief flooded back. Kirk's hand shook as he stared at the pills in his palm. Panic surged. This was the moment of truth. With a deep, trembling breath, he tossed the pills aside, breaking them under his shoe. In that instant, Kirk realized sobriety would be war-fought, moment by moment. Word of Kirk's near relapse leaked to a rival blog, which published screenshots of a social media post showing Kirk at the party. The headline read, "Kirk Frost almost back on drugs." The cast and fans erupted. In some comments, viewers demanded he be removed from the show permanently. Others rallied to his side, celebrating his refusal at the last second. The family was left divided once more, torn between condoning his fight and fearing another fall. On the eve of the rehab center's graduation ceremony, a small event marking the end of the detox phase, Kirk delivered an impromptu speech. He stood before a group of recovering addicts, their families, and a handful of cast members flown in for support. Kirk's voice wavered as he spoke about accountability, regret, and hope. I almost lost myself again," he confessed. "But today I stand here because I chose life." The audience rose in a standing ovation, many wiping away tears. Yet behind the applause, some wondered if the cameras were more present than Kirk's genuine conviction. That night, as Kirk returned to his room, he found a note slipped under the door from Jock. "We're proud of you. Keep fighting." Kirk pinned the note to the wall beside his journal. The simple gesture anchored him, proof that friendship could transcend public scandal. As Kirk lay down, exhaustion tugged at his limbs, but a quiet determination burned in his chest. He closed his eyes and whispered, "This time I will not let you down." Part 2 ends here. Part 3 will delve into the cast's ultimate reaction on the reunion stage and Kirk's triumph or downfall in the eyes of the world. The day of the reunion arrived under bright studio lights and a haze of anticipation. Kirk's empty chair sat between Jock and Rashida, a stark reminder of the journey that had unfolded. Cameras rolled as Mona Scott greeted the live audience and millions watching at home. Jock spoke first, voice steady. "Tonight we confront truth, forgiveness, and the power of second chances." The words hung heavy in the air as the cast took their seats, each wrestling with loyalty, betrayal, and hope. When Jock introduced a clip of Kirk's early confession, the studio fell silent. Viewers at home saw Kirk's face contort with shame as he admitted his mistakes. On stage, Bambi dabbed at her eyes, while Yandy pressed a hand to her mouth. Fans are shocked at the raw vulnerability exposed to millions. The screen then cut to footage of Kirk breaking down in group therapy, tears flowing freely as he wrote in his journal, "I am ready to rebuild." A hush fell over the set as Jock addressed the elephant in the room, Kirk's absence. "Kirk chose his healing journey over tonight's stage," Jock said gently. "But his voice is here, and he'll join us later." At that moment, pre-recorded footage of Kirk's speech at the rehab graduation played. He spoke about accountability and community, promising to give back to those struggling like he once had. The sincerity in his tone softened even the most critical hearts. Next, the cameras panned to Bambi and Rashida. Rashida's voice trembled as she shared a heartfelt statement. "I've known Kirk longer than most. He's family. His actions hurt me, but his fight for sobriety inspires me." Bambi nodded beside her. "We have to protect each other. Addiction isn't a moral failing. It's a disease. Tonight, we choose compassion." The family was left divided in public opinion, but on stage they stood united in support. The mood shifted when Mona Scott introduced a surprise appearance, the unnamed cast member who allegedly received drugs from Kirk. They approached the stage under bright spotlights. Emotions ran high as they spoke with quiet resolve. "Kirk and I both made mistakes. I accept responsibility for my part, and I'm in recovery too." The confession stunned viewers, many praising the courage to confess on live television. Social media exploded with comments like, "True strength is in owning your story," and "This is real talk." Then Mona revealed an unexpected twist. Jock had agreed to let Kirk address the reunion via live video link. The screen behind the cast flickered and Kirk appeared, face pale but eyes earnest. In a trembling voice, he began, "I'm sorry I hurt you all and betrayed your trust. Every day I'm working to be better, for my family, friends, and the fans who believed in me." Kirk paused as emotions overtook him, tears glistening under the studio lights. Fans are shocked to see him break down again, but many felt the moment rang true. Jock nodded and responded, "We forgive you, brother. Your journey reminds us all that no one is immune to struggle, but recovery is possible." The audience erupted in applause. Sponsors who had paused endorsements cautiously reactivated their support, recognizing the positive message. A sportswear brand tweeted, "We stand with Kirk in his path to wellness," while a community nonprofit announced a renewed partnership for addiction awareness campaigns. As the reunion continued, cast members reflected on their own experiences. Spice shared a story of supporting a friend through addiction, almost collapsing under tears. Yandy spoke of the importance of mental health resources in urban communities. Each anecdote wove a tapestry of empathy that countered the initial outrage. Viewers were reminded that behind sensational headlines, real people face vulnerability and need compassion. But just when the tone seemed wholly redemptive, producers dropped another bombshell, an unearthed clip from Kirk's recent family event, showed him at a charity function slipping a small vial into his pocket. The clip played silently on the screen before Joss. Voice tinged with disbelief, asked Kirk to explain. Kirk's face turned ashen. He took a deep breath and admitted, I slipped. I panicked in front of the cameras. The revelation sent shockwaves through the studio. The family was left divided again. Was this genuine relapse or a misunderstanding? Instant reaction on social media was swift and merciless. Some fans cried foul, accusing Kirk of staging the slip to extend his storyline. Hashtags like Sancha Rehab Redux and Dodger Reality TV Plot Hole trended. Others expressed empathy. One mistake doesn't erase months of recovery. The cast sat in stunned silence, unsure whether to rally behind Kirk or distance themselves once more. Jock leaned forward, gaze sympathetic yet firm. Addiction is a lifelong fight, he said quietly. Relapse is part of recovery for many. The key is what you do next. Kirk nodded, voice breaking. I'm ashamed, but I won't give up. I'll return any help I've misplaced. The studio audience offered a tentative ovation, torn between support and doubt. Monica Scott then shifted the focus to Kirk's community impact. Clips played of Kirk delivering scholarships, mentoring teens, and volunteering at recovery centers. Those moments contrasted starkly with the relapse clip, painting a complex portrait of a man grappling with his demons. Fans watched, divided. Some celebrated his altruism. Others questioned whether good deeds could atone for relapse. The emotional apex arrived when Kirk stepped onto the stage in person, greeted by Jock and Rashida. He wore a simple shirt and jeans, far removed from his usual designer wardrobe. Kirk took the mic and addressed the live audience. I'm not perfect. I've stumbled in front of the world, but I'm here to stand up. Tears streamed down his face as Jock embraced him. The raw display of vulnerability moved many viewers to tears. Casters and critics alike noted that the reunion had transcended typical reality drama. Commentators on entertainment blogs wrote that the show had delivered a powerful narrative on addiction, redemption, and human frailty. Some praised the producers' bold choice to air relapse footage, arguing it fostered honest conversation. Others decried the exploitation of Kirk's suffering for ratings, as the reunion special drew. To a close, Mona Scott offered a final reflection. Reality TV mirrors real life with all its triumphs and setbacks. Tonight, we witnessed a man's battle with addiction, the strength of community, and the enduring power of forgiveness. The live audience rose in a standing ovation. Viewers at home flooded the comments. Best reunion ever. This is why I watch. And addiction awareness on primetime, unbelievable. After the credits rolled, Kirk and Jock retreated to a private suite. Jock looked at Kirk with genuine pride. You did it, he said softly. Kirk managed a weary smile. I did it for my kids, for you, for everyone who believed in me. Jock clasped his shoulder. This is your new chapter. Yet as Kirk left the studio that night, a lone paparazzo captured an image of him checking his reflection in a car window, eyes haunted. The flashbulb illuminated the question lingering in the minds of fans. Could Kirk maintain this new chapter once the cameras were gone? Or would the pressures of fame drive him back into the darkness? The reunion had delivered closure and cliffhangers. In equal measure, leaving the love and hip-hop world forever changed. In Part 4, we'll explore Kirk's life beyond the spotlight, the ripple effects on his family, and whether reality television can truly foster lasting healing, or simply spin another cycle of dramatized redemption. The morning after the reunion, Kirk awoke to a storm of notifications. Messages of support and doubt collided in his inbox. Fans are shocked at his relapse, yet moved by his return. Emotions ran high as some praised his bravery, while others warned that one misstep could undo months of progress. Kirk scrolled through the comments, his heart pounding with a mix of pride and fear. The family was left divided. Tiffany remained his steadfast anchor, but even she grappled with uncertainty. Their children, too young to grasp the full scope, sensed the tension in their home. Kirk vowed to himself that this chapter would not define his legacy. Later that day, producers met in the network offices to discuss the fallout. They reviewed ratings, social media analytics, and sponsor feedback. One exec noted, "We've never seen engagement like this, but at what cost?" Another warned, "If Kirk stumbles again, we risk legal liability and public backlash." The decision weighed heavily. Should they offer Kirk a permanent mentorship role, or limit his screen time until he demonstrated sustained sobriety? Mona Scott argued for narrative integrity, asserting that the show's authenticity hinged on genuine human stories, even messy ones. In the end, they agreed on a conditional plan. Kirk would appear periodically, documented transparently, with clear disclaimers and support resources displayed on screen. Meanwhile, Kirk returned to the rehab center for an intensive outpatient program. Cameras accompanied him through group sessions, one-on-one counseling, and support group meetings. In one heated moment, Kirk confronted his sponsor in a private room. "I'm tired of walking this tightrope," he admitted, voice cracking. "Every day feels like a battle between who I was and who I want to be." His sponsor replied gently, "That war never ends, but each step forward strengthens your resolve." The vulnerability resonated with viewers, many of whom admitted their own struggles. A viewer commented, "Kirk's journey feels like mine. Addiction is a monster that doesn't disappear overnight." At home, Tiffany organized a healing ritual for the family's sake. She gathered photos of happier times, journal entries of gratitude, and a playlist of upbeat songs that once defined their life together. In the living room, they played soft music as a family, sharing hopes for the future. Tiffany said softly, "We're not erasing the past, but we're choosing love over fear." Their children danced around the room, laughter echoing against walls that had absorbed too much tension. Kirk watched, tears in his eyes, grateful for this reminder of what recovery truly meant, reclaiming joy. Back on set, the cast prepared for a special crossover event with another city's love and hip-hop franchise. Jock hesitated before returning script pages to Mona. "I'm still worried about Kirk," he confessed. Mona nodded. "We'll support him, but I need you to trust the process." Jock exhaled. "I want Kirk back fully, not just as a cautionary tale." Bambi added, "We've shown forgiveness. Now let's show how second chances work." They brainstormed ways to integrate Kirk's recovery message into the crossover episodes, planning segments where cast members shared personal stories of overcoming adversity. Social media buzzed with anticipation for the crossover. Hashtags like #Uncensored and Our Rehab Reality trended alongside Or Young Jock. Calls for resources to support addiction services spiked on Google searches, a tangible impact beyond television. Kirk's story catalyzed community action. Local nonprofits reported increased inquiries and volunteer signups. In an unexpected twist, a prominent addiction awareness foundation reached out to the network for partnership, offering to produce a short public service announcement segment featuring Kirk. Mona accepted, seeing it as an opportunity to bridge entertainment and public service. In the midst of these developments, Kirk received a surprise visit from the unnamed cast member who had once received drugs from him. They met in a quiet conference room. Kirk looked at them with remorse. "I'm sorry for how I dragged you into my darkness," he said, voice trembling. The other cast member placed a hand on Kirk's shoulder. "We both made mistakes," they replied. "I needed help and you reached for the wrong thing, but now we can help each other heal." They agreed to co-host a special segment on the show, discussing the realities of peer pressure and the importance of seeking sober support. As part of his healing, Kirk took up a new hobby: woodworking. Cameras captured him sanding rough boards into smooth planks, his focus absolute. The slow, deliberate work became a metaphor for his journey. Underneath rough exteriors lie beautiful creations. He crafted a small wooden box, inside of which he placed the note Jock had given him at rehab. "We stand with you." When he presented the box to Jock on set, Jock smiled and clasped it to his chest. "Thank you for reminding me to keep building." The moment aired in a short vignette titled Wood and Will, quickly becoming one of the series' most shared clips. Yet not all threats were internal. A tabloid published allegations that Kirk's rehab facility had dishonest practices, claiming patients were coerced to perform on camera. The blog included blurry photos and anonymous quotes. Kirk and the network swiftly issued statements refuting the claims, and the rehab center's director invited an independent audit. Fans rallied to Kirk's defense, with our IRE Rehab trending, as supporters posted selfies holding signs that read, "I am recovery." The The controversy highlighted how quickly truth and rumor entwine in reality TV, forcing Kirk to confront not only his personal demons, but also the court of public opinion. Amid these storms, Tiffany began writing a memoir of their family's journey. Journalists sought interviews drawn to the human interest angle. Tiffany hesitated, fearing further scrutiny, but ultimately saw it as a way to share hope. Excerpts published on a popular blog described late-night conversations with Kirk, her own struggles with fear, and the moments that cemented their bond. Readers responded with messages of solidarity, applauding her courage and offering their own stories. The memoir project became another layer of Kirk's recovery narrative, reinforcing the message that healing encompasses the entire family. As the season progressed toward its finale, producers teased a climactic episode titled Homecoming, in which Kirk would return to his penthouse for a raw, unscripted reflection. The teaser showed Kirk standing alone on the balcony where Jock had first exposed him, looking out over the city he once dominated. His voiceover asked, "Can I reclaim my throne? Or is this skyline too full of shadows?" The question resonated, encapsulating the uncertainty of his future. Viewers prepared for a finale that promised closure, confrontation, and perhaps the clearest answer yet to whether redemption is possible on camera. In the months since Jock's initial exposé, Kirk's path has been one of upheaval and renewal, with every milestone broadcast to millions. The family remains divided between hope and fear, the cast between solidarity and skepticism, and the audience between empathy and cynicism. Yet through it all, Kirk continues to fight for sobriety, for his family, and for a chance to redefine his legacy. As Part 4 draws to a close, one truth stands clear. Reality TV's lens may be unforgiving, but it also shines light on the darkest corners. Whether Kirk emerges stronger or stumbles again, his story has already changed love and hip-hop, and the lives of everyone who watched it unfold. You've witnessed Kirk Frost's world shatter and rebuild before your eyes. First, the shocking exposé by young Jock that ripped off his mask, then Kirk's brave plunge into rehab, relapses and revelations, and finally his fight to reclaim trust on the reunion stage. Emotions ran high as loyalties fractured, families wrestled with fear and hope, and viewers everywhere grappled with the raw reality of addiction. Through every twist, from the secret recordings and emergency interventions to the heart-wrenching group therapy sessions, you saw a man at war with his own demons and a cast torn between accountability and compassion. So where do we go from here? Will Kirk's newfound vulnerability translate into lasting change once the cameras stop rolling? Or will the pressures of fame and expectation drag him back into darkness? Can the bonds of this close-knit reality family withstand another storm? Or will trust forever be a fragile thread? And most importantly, what does Kirk's journey teach us about our own battles with pain, forgiveness, and redemption? If this explosive saga has you on the edge of your seat, hit that like button to show your support for Kirk's fight and the honest storytelling you crave. Subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss a beat of the drama, the triumphs, and the setbacks that make love and hip-hop more than just entertainment. Then drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe Kirk deserves a second chance? Or has he crossed a line too far? And what moment shocked you the most? Your voice matters, and we want to hear your take on this unforgettable story. Stay tuned because the drama isn't over, it's only just begun.